Thank you all for being here today. I'm Todd Crosby. I'm the president of our union, UFCW 21. This is our building. We consider it our members' building. And as a statewide union, we also have offices in Silverdale, Mount Vernon, and Spokane. But before we get started and sign and discuss this agreement, I wanted to take a moment to introduce our union and to speak to our role as a union in some of the major developments across our state over the last decade. UFCW 21 is the largest private sector union in the state. We're a union of 45,000 working people in grocery stores, retail, healthcare, and other industries. And we are a growing union. We are a diverse union with a majority women. We have the youngest union membership in the state. We are proudly a multiracial, multigender, multi-generational trade union. We believe in the power and the strength of working people coming together to form a union in their workplace and negotiating from that position of power and strength directly with their employers for the terms that govern wages, benefits, and working conditions. Finally, we believe that when we combine these rights to collectively negotiate the terms under which we work with three other approaches, we are all better off. And I want to talk a little bit about those approaches. They are enforcing our agreements, partnering with the community for safer and healthier workplaces and communities, and building a more representative democracy with increased voter participation and a stronger, more equitable representational economy for all. This is reflected in our mission. Our mission is building a more powerful union that fights for economic, political, and social justice in our workplaces and in our communities. We've been on the leading edge of many of our region's recent advances for economic, political, and social justice. From the ballot measure for marriage equality to the partnered efforts around the CTAC initiative that really kicked off much of the higher minimum wage struggles across the state. From our health plan being the first UFCW health plan in the nation to cover expenses for transgendered individuals, to standing up with community groups for immigration rights, gender equality, and racial and environmental justice. From passing the state's minimum wage and paid sick leave law just a couple of years ago to many of the Seattle's ordinances around higher wages, better benefits, secure scheduling, to the more recent passage of one of the best statewide paid family medical leave laws in the nation. And I can go on, but I'll stop there. The point is clear. When working people come together around our common sense policies to improve our lives, whether that be we litigate, regulate, legislate, or negotiate, and we have the power of a strong union and strong community partnerships, we can make great things happen. So today we're here to sign and celebrate the achievement of a first of its kind in Washington State, a new collective bargaining agreement between the unionized workforce and an employer in the retail adult use cannabis industry. So I was just about ready to say, before we go too far, I want to introduce some of the newest UFCW 20 members from Have a Heart, but you already heard from them. So introduce yourselves again with a loud applause there. And I want to welcome Ryan Kunkel, the CEO of Have a Heart. Ryan. So why don't we just get this done and let's sign this thing and get going. Want to do that? All right. All right, let's do that, and then I'll bring Ryan up for a few words. before we get to Ryan, I want to make sure to introduce a couple of elected officials we have here. City Councilwoman Teresa Mosqueda. And State Representative Joe Fitzgibbon. So I want to make a few quick comments about the agreement itself and then bring Ryan up and Teresa and Joe. Just to kind of make a few notes. In addition to the often won elements of a normal union collective bargaining agreement that includes such things as time and a half on holidays, earned time off, a progressive wage scale, health care, retirement security, a number of other items. This agreement has some unique aspects that make it special, and those includes rights such as paid civic duty for up to 3 hours to participate in our electoral process, whether that's a caucus or election or whatever. Time off for union organizing work, and something that may be unique to some of the employers in this area, but tip pooling, but just for the workers in this city, which is different than I think happens with other employers in this city. And then there are a few last points I want to call out before I pass the microphone off to Ryan. This agreement is not just about the current workers, it also calls out the future workers as Have a Heart expands here and around the nation and makes a commitment to those workers also to have the rights and protections and benefits of this agreement. Unlike most employers out there who fight against basic worker rights that are guaranteed under federal labor law, unlike most employers who spread lies and information when workers begin to consider a union workplace, and unlike most employers who at best make workers jump through hoops and at worst threaten them with firing when they seek to organize at work, Have a Heart has committed to embracing this collaboration for a safe and healthy workplace and understands that a big part of ensuring that comes from making sure workers are respected and empowered with their rights and ensuring the safe sales of product in our communities. So, okay, let's hear from Ryan from Have a Heart. Please give him a round of applause.
Is this one? Thank you, Todd. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. I just want to say thanks to Todd and the UFCW 21 for making this moment possible. Councilwoman Mosqueda, I appreciate you being here. Joe Fitzgibbon, thank you. This has been a long time coming. We tried to do this 4 years ago before we were put out of business and had to rebuild from scratch. So I am happy to be here today. We've been waiting a long time for this. So thank you for all my Have a Heart staff for showing up today to walk us through this ceremony. What a lot of people, including my partners, don't realize is that I actually come from a pretty heavy union background. My mom was union, my dad was union, his construction company I grew up working at was union, I was union most of my childhood through my teenage years and my early 20s. So it was very unnatural for me to operate a business that did not have an organized workforce. So that's what led us to this today. So I want to share a couple things about Have a Heart. At Have a Heart, we do cannabis and we do good. Our first store was born in Seattle in 2011. Now, today, we're at 5 in the state of Washington, and employees from each of our stores are in the room. We have grown out of a profound commitment to making a positive difference with our employees in the communities where we operate and as leaders in the industry by cultivating compassion, providing education and promoting community involvement. We enable those we serve and lead with healthy lives to inspire others. We believe in our product and we're serious about our business. One of the ways we do good is by creating a safe and empowering workplace, a workplace full of employees that are healthy and secure, experts in their fields, and who have room in their lives for their family and other meaningful activities outside of work. This partnership is essential for that, and it gives me great pride. I am proud of our commitment to family wage jobs. I am proud that our agreement ensures that our employees will have great health care and pensions they otherwise would not have access to. I am proud that our employees will have secure scheduling, pensions, 6 paid weeks of parental leave. I'm proud that this agreement emphasizes equal pay and fair treatment in the workplace. Look, it comes down to this. Engaged employees enable sustainable growth. And while our agreement is with the UFCW Local 21, we are committed to forging agreements in all markets where we operate outside of Washington because these partnerships are part of our mission and they're critical to who we are. I'm excited to be bringing maturity and professionalism and expansion to a legal industry that's still forming. Have a Heart now has 5 stores in Washington, 1 in Hawaii, and plans for 15 more by the end of the year across 6 states. We plan on bringing the union to every one of those states with us. We're excited about what this means for workers, families, and communities. So let's do good together. Thank you.
Okay, so thank you, Ryan. Well said. I want to bring up our next speaker, City Council Member Teresa Mosqueda.
Thanks. Well, good morning, everyone. Are you excited to be here? Yeah, I'm excited to be here too. I'm excited to be here to celebrate the first ever unionized cannabis retail company. Give it up, you guys. As a union member myself, and having worked for 7 years at the AFL-CIO, I've spent many years fighting alongside of UFCW 21 members, working with Todd and his team to make sure that workers have basic protections, minimum wage, protections on the workplace, making sure that we have safety, making sure we can take care of our loved ones, and like you said, making sure we're not just living to work, but work is part of our overall component of being healthy, and having a living wage job is so critical. You know, in a post-Janus world, in a post-Janus Supreme Court world, we have to do everything we can to give voice to workers, to lift up workers and work with high road employers. And it takes courage. As workers, it takes courage to come forward, to form a union, to demand a union, to make sure that your collective bargaining rights are heard. It showed that courage when you created this contract today. And it takes leadership. It takes leadership. And Have a Heart truly has a heart. They are showing what it means to be a high road employer in a post-Janus world, to come together to figure out how we together can lift up workers. Because we know this, when unions are around, when workers are unionized, we see greater productivity, we see improved workplace satisfaction, we see workers who have longer life expectancy, better health outcomes, and frankly, the health and well-being of our entire population is improved when we have unions. It's good for our local economy, it's good for our health, and it's good for businesses. This today is actually a win-win. I'm so incredibly proud of all of the work that you guys have already accomplished, and I look forward to hearing more about what you will accomplish in the future. I'm proud that this is happening here in Seattle and in Washington State, where we have led the way on many of the policies that you heard Todd talk about. You are now leading the way for the nation, and I hope the industry as a whole is taking note, because this is what it looks like to be a good employer, to make sure that your workers are part of increasing productivity and making sure that this industry truly thrives. I'm really excited that we have been able to celebrate this today, but we also know that it can't just be this one retail shop. We have to actually look at reforms across the state, across the country. And one of those individuals who's helping lead the way, who's lifting up high road employers like Have a Heart, who's working with workers like UFCW 21, and who's fighting for a green energy economy and good living wage jobs is Representative Joe Fitzgibbon. If it's okay with you, I'll turn it over to Joe. Congratulations to all of you.
Thank you, Teresa, and thank you, Todd and Ryan, for this historic achievement. This is the latest historic day in a series of historic days since our state became, with Colorado, one of the first 2 jurisdictions, not just in the country, but in the world, to legalize and regulate recreational cannabis for adults. Since then, we've had several other historical achievements that I think are really relevant to the workers and to all the people of our state. Certainly the effort by UFCW 21 to raise the minimum wage, wage with Initiative 1433, and followed by the amazing achievement in the legislature in 2017 of passing a sick and safe leave policy sick and safe leave and then paid family leave in 2017. Those are protections that UFCW 21 has been on the front lines of advocating for, and now the workers at Have a Heart will be as members of UFCW 21 will be part of pushing to expand rights for workers and expand living wage jobs for workers around our state. Those are important achievements, and this achievement today takes that to the next level. As the recreational cannabis industry grows in our state, we have an obligation to get it right. We have an obligation to show states around the country and to show jurisdictions around the world that recreational cannabis is safe, it's good for our economy, and it's good for workers. And it's better for workers when workers have a voice in their workplace, like the UFCW 21 members at Have a Heart, all here with us today, are going to do going forward. When we legalized recreational cannabis in this state, thousands of workers in the cannabis industry for the first time became part of received the benefits of workers' compensation insurance, unemployment insurance, minimum wage protections. Going forward, those protections are going to be augmented by the amazing achievements won by the Have a Heart workers as a part of their collective bargaining agreement. Again, this is a really important policy area for the state of Washington to get right, and now UFCW 21 is going to be an active partner with us in Olympia in making sure that the regulated cannabis market is a success, that it protects consumers, that it protects patients who rely on cannabis for their medical needs, that it protects the public, that it grows the industry, and most importantly for us here today, that it ensures that workers are respected and included in those important decisions going forward. So I really just want to congratulate you all. I really want to congratulate you on this amazing day and this amazing achievement, and what it portends for all the workers in the recreational cannabis industry, not just here in Washington, but around the country. So congratulations, and I'll turn it back over to Todd.
Woo!
So now I think we've got a few minutes for Q&A. If there are questions out there. I know for the cannabis employees and the new members of 21, we're going to have a bit of a training later on. But if there are questions from anybody that's here from any press or anyone else, for Ryan or me or Teresa or Joe?
Over here, Todd. Have a Heart is first. Who's next? How actively is Local 21 recruiting other cannabis companies to join the union?
Well, that's a good question. I think Teresa spoke a little bit about it and Joe spoke more about it. I think that there's some work that has to be done on the regulatory structure in the state of Washington. And I think that these workers that you see here have taken the first step and will be speaking out in Washington about how the industry is regulated and how licenses are given out. So I think we're going to take that approach first and then see where it goes from there. But I think to Teresa and Joe's point, anybody that has an issue can surely call us and go up to our website, ufcw21.org, and we'll be talking with them.
Is that how it works? Is that the employees come to you first, or do you reach out to employees in the industry?
It can go either way. Yeah. Other questions?
I think we're good.
Okay. All right. Well then, thank you. I think I'll call it to a close, and thanks everybody for coming. Let's hang out for a little while and get to know each other. Thank you.